Hello students, after studying this module, you shall be able to understand the contemporary leadership issues, describe the different forms of leadership, know the nature of each of the different forms of leadership, analyze the functions of leaders in contemporary world, identify the key attributes of different leadership styles, and learn the different influence processes employed by contemporary leaders. Leadership is not a new concept. It existed since the inception of human society in one form or the other. It has also moved into the world of work and organizations. In fact, the organizations are the places where leadership has assumed the most important place. Leadership is simply indispensable for the organization. A leader shapes the way an organization develops and changes in times of need. A leader steers an organization through turbulent times as well as when the organization is flourishing. He or she not only guides and motivates the employees but also extends technical support as and when needed. These are just a few roles played by a leader in the organizations, but are enough to highlight the importance of leadership in the organizations. Therefore, leadership has been an important topic of study for organizational behaviorists. Now let's talk about the basic leadership concepts. First, I would give you definitions and its meaning. The term leadership originates from the root verb lead. Leadership means the ability of an individual to collectively lead others towards a goal. Some of the definitions of leadership are: leadership is the exercise of authority and making of decisions, as given by R. Dubin in 1968. Alford and Beatty in 1951 defined leadership as the ability to secure desirable actions from a group of followers voluntarily without the use of coercion. Peter Drucker in 1969 defined leadership as: leadership is not making friends and influencing people, that is salesmanship. It is the lifting of man's vision to higher heights, the raising of man's personality beyond its normal limitations. Now let's talk about the nature of leadership. Leadership is characterized by a number of factors depending on circumstances. Following are those important characteristics which reflect the nature of leadership invariably under a variety of circumstances. Few of them are: leadership is a personal quality. The primary characteristic of a leader is that this is a personal quality not shared by all people. There are only a few individuals who emerge as leaders from among a majority of people who in turn settle down in the role of followers. Second characteristic is, it depends on followers. A leader does not exist without followers. It is the followers which label an individual as a leader. If there are no followers, there is no existence of leadership. It also depends on the willingness of the followers to accept the leader. The third is, it is a process of influence. Leadership is essentially a form of social influence wherein a leader influences his or her followers' attitudes, beliefs, and behavior. Fourth, common goals are central to leadership. Leadership exists only for the realization of common goals. Common goals which are to be attained by many people simultaneously project one or two of them as leaders. A common goal is what gives the followers a reason to choose a leader. Fifth, it requires readiness to accept responsibility. Leadership is a position of responsibility, and hence the leader should be ever ready to take charge of the situation. He or she must always be ready to accept the responsibility no matter how the circumstances are. Sixth, it stimulates followers. Leaders work by stimulating his or her followers to strive willingly to attain common and desired organizational objectives. Seventh, it operates through many leadership styles. There are a number of leadership styles which are adopted by the leaders. Some of these styles vary with the leader's attitude and behavior. Such leaders stick to their respective styles in most of the circumstances. Other leaders who show a higher degree of flexibility tend to change their leadership style in response to the demand of the situation. Leadership is not synonymous with management. It is a common mistake to understand leadership as synonymous with management. These two are different from each other and encompass different roles. Now let's differentiate between leader and manager. There has been many focus on the discussion of whether or not leader and manager are synonymous. After all, both of them have the common underlying role of attaining organizational goals and improving employee performance. Although leadership and management are deeply interlinked and interrelated, yet they are not the same. Some of the points on which they differ are: firstly, leaders have followers, but managers do not have followers. The basic aim of leadership is to fulfill followers' needs, while the basic aim of management is to meet organizational goals. Third, leadership emphasizes on transformational aspect. Management emphasizes on transactional aspect. The job of a leader is to inspire and motivate followers. The job of a manager, on the other hand, is to plan, organize, and coordinate. Leaders innovate, while managers administer. Leaders win the trust of the followers to accomplish organizational goals. Managers, on the other hand, use their power and control to accomplish organizational goals. Leaders challenge the status quo. Managers maintain the status quo. It is clear that not every leader is a manager, and not every manager can be a leader. A manager has the authority by virtue of his or her official position, whereas a leader does not need an official authority. It is the loyalty of the followers which makes a person into a leader. Now let's talk about the leadership styles. Leadership style refers to the pattern of behavior adopted by a leader consistently under different situations. Every leader follows a particular style of behavior to carry out his or her roles and functions. It is this mode of behavior which defines the leadership style adopted by the leader. Leadership style depends on the leader's own experiences and personality. It might differ from leader to leader or from one situation to another for the same leader. A leadership style is chosen by the leader based on a number of factors such as the type of the followers and conditions prevailing in the organization. Leadership styles can be classified along two lines. First, based on leaders' attitude and behavior, and second, based on official recognition and authority. Both the classifications shall be discussed. Based on attitudes and behavior, leadership styles are classified into four types. First is autocratic or authoritarian style. Second is democratic style. Third is laissez-faire style. And fourth is paternalistic style. I shall be talking about each one of them one by one. First is autocratic or authoritarian style. An autocratic leader is the one who uses his or her power absolutely. They are highly assertive and task-oriented. They demand complete obedience from their followers and expect to be heard out. The power of decision making completely rests with the leader. The followers have no or very little say in the leader's decisions. Yet, they are expected to follow these decisions without questioning the leader. An autocratic leader mobilizes the followers towards his or her own vision. This type of leader exhibits tremendous self-confidence and authority. This style has shown to be successful in situations requiring a new vision or a new direction. Autocratic leaders are also successful when the subordinates lack the ambition or abilities or both to achieve the desired goals. The second is the democratic style. Democratic style is the opposite of autocratic leadership style. Democratic leaders try to involve the subordinates in the decision-making process of those decisions which influence them. They try to build consensus through participation and to take everyone's input. This makes the followers or subordinates to be more accepting towards the leader. Democratic leaders are known to be more encouraging. They believe in collaboration and team leadership. They encourage open communication among their followers. This style therefore provides the required motivation to the subordinates to believe in the cause of the organization. On the downside, the democratic style leaders sometimes end up delaying the decision making and disciplining the subordinates. Third is the laissez-faire leadership. This style of leadership is characterized by the degree of autonomy given to the followers. A laissez-faire leader gives complete freedom to the group of followers, and hence they are also called as free rein leaders. The subordinates are allowed to choose their own policies and methods of working. They are given a free hand in making decisions and following those decisions. The leader comes in only in the times of need as demanded by the subordinates. This leadership style goes a long way in enhancing the confidence of the subordinates. But this leadership style is not always successful Giving complete authority to the subordinates is not a good idea when the subordinates lack competence, are not sincere to their work, and are not capable of self-discipline. The next is the paternalistic style of leadership. This style of leadership is characterized by a father-like leader. A paternalistic leader would take care of the subordinates just like a parent would do. This style of leadership is based on the emotions of the leader and followers. The leader protects, nurtures, and provides for the followers. This results in complete trust and loyalty from the followers. They are likely to stay with the organization for longer periods of time because of their loyalty. The leader and the followers treat each other like family inside the workforce. But since the subordinates are completely dependent on the leader, they do not grow or develop under the paternalistic leader. Also, there is always a high chance of the paternalistic leader to start choosing favorites from among the followers based on official authority. Another way of classifying leadership styles is based on the official recognition. On this basis, there are two types of leadership styles. First, formal leaders. A formal leader is the one who is formally appointed or elected. He is the leader who comes from the organizational structure. Because the formal leader comes through the organizational selection, he or she enjoys the authority that comes with the position. The formal leader owes accountability towards those who elected him or her. He or she has to fulfill the responsibility of being an organizational figure as well as try to stand true to the values and needs of the subordinates who depend on him or her. Second is informal leader. An informal leader receives no formal recognition and is not officially appointed or elected. He or she emerges from within the group and assumes responsibility of leading under certain circumstances. People make an individual the leader from among them for the reason of sharing common goals. An informal leader is approached by the followers for receiving help, guidance, or solution to a problem. The general popularity of the person among others plays an important role in positioning him or her as the informal leader. In organizations, informal leaders are commonly seen as the leaders of their peer group or unit. They can help the organization in strengthening the formal leadership. Now let's talk about the leadership roles. Henry Mintzberg in 1975 proposed three types of managerial or leadership roles like interpersonal roles, informational roles, and decision roles. Under interpersonal roles are figurehead, leader, or liaison. Under informational role, there are recipients, disseminators, spokesperson. Under decision roles, we have the entrepreneurial, disturbance handler, we have resource allocator, and negotiators. Now coming to interpersonal roles. Interpersonal roles arise from the interpersonal dynamics within an organization. These roles deal with the interpersonal relationships between the leader and the subordinates. The interpersonal roles are of further three types. First is the figurehead. A leader serves as the figurehead of an organization by the virtue of his or her formal position. the leader serves as the symbol of the organization. Owing to the role of a figurehead, the leader performs a number of ceremonial duties. Leader also serves a source of inspiration whom people look up to. The second is the leader. Under this role, the leader provides leadership to the subordinates. He or she motivates, directs the followers towards organizational goals. The leader also selects and trains the subordinates, manages the performance and responsibilities of everyone in the group. The third is the liaison. This role outlines the leader's responsibility to communicate with internal and external contacts. The leader needs to network effectively on behalf of the organization. Liaison role of the leader suggests that the leader should establish and maintain context within and outside the organization. Next is the informational roles. Leaders also have important informational roles. The informational roles of a leader show that the leaders operate by giving and receiving a lot of information. Following roles are adopted by the leader under informational roles. First is monitor. In this role, the leader regularly seeks out and acquires work-related information as well as information related to the organization and industry. The leader scans the environment looking for relevant changes in the environment. He or she also continually probes co-workers, subordinates, bosses and outside contexts for information. Next is the disseminator. The role of a leader as the disseminator means that the leader distributes information to the key people. Under this role, the leader communicates potentially useful information to his or her colleagues and others in the organization. The next is spokesperson. Under this role, the leader provides information to the outsiders. Leaders represent and speak for their organization. They are responsible for transmitting information about the organization and its goals to the people outside. Now coming to the third set of role is the decisional roles. Apart from the interpersonal and informational roles, the leaders also have important decisional roles in which the leader acts upon the information. They are as follows. First is entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, the leader identifies a new idea and initiates an improvement project. This means generating new ideas and collecting resources to implement them. This is a proactive role adopted by the leader. Second is the disturbance handler. As a disturbance handler, the leader adopts a reactive role in response to the problems and pressures of the situation. When an organization or team hits an unexpected roadblock, it's the leader who must take charge. Here, the leader deals with the disputes or the problems and takes corrective actions. Next is resource allocator. Under this role, the leader is required to determine where the organizational resources are best applied. This involves allocating funding as well as assigning staff and other organizational resources. Next is negotiator. In the role of a negotiator, the leader spends time at all levels in the give and take of negotiating with the insiders as well as the outsiders. They are needed to take part in and direct important negotiations within their teams, departments, or other organizational levels. and even outside the organization. Let's talk about the importance of leadership. Leaders play a significant role in the organizations. No organization can exist without its leadership. Therefore, it is needless to say that leaders are indispensable for the organizations. The importance of leadership in organizations is massive and is highlighted by the following points. First, motivation and morale. One of the primary factors which make leaders important to the organizations is the fact that the leaders are the immediate agents of enhancing employee motivation and boosting morale. They do so by adopting different strategies depending on the type of situation where the motivation among workers is low. Second is guiding group efforts. Leaders provide a common thread to a group consisting of workers of different dispositions and skills. A leader guides a group towards common goals and directs their efforts in a combined manner. Third is providing a vision. Leaders provide a vision to employees, which is important to one and all. The vision provided by the leader offers the promise of a bright future which is desirable within the organization. It is the leader who infuses energy into this vision. Next is improving cooperation amongst employees. A leader improves cooperation and coordination among employees working on group or team tasks, either by virtue of his or her official authority or by means of personalized communication with them. Fifth is protecting the interest of employees. A leader serves as the link between his or her subordinates and the top level management. Leader provides a voice to the ideas and requirements of the subordinates and takes the same to the higher authorities. In this way, the leader protects the interest of the employees. Next is attainment of organizational goals. Leader sees to that organizational goals and targets are achieved in a timely manner and are given due importance by all the workers. Next is directing through a change. The leaders become especially important during the times of change and transition experienced by the organizations. In the absence of a strong leadership in such situations, it might become very difficult or even impossible for the employees to hold the organization together. Next is aiding authority. There are limits to the use of authority in obtaining high performance amongst the subordinates. Authority alone cannot generate improved performance. In such a situation, leadership is essential for obtaining successful work accomplishments. Next is making management a social process. Management is transformed into a social process through leadership actions. It is the social skill of leadership which accomplishes organizational goals by utilizing the potential of the people. Summary. Leadership is the process of influence exerted by an individual over the others in order to motivate them towards a common goal. Leadership in organization has been widely studied. Leaders are different from managers. Not every leader is a manager, and not every manager can be a leader. Based on classification, leadership style can be autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, paternalistic, formal or informal. A leader plays multiple roles in an organization which have been broadly classified into interpersonal, informational and decisional roles. Importance of leadership in organizations cannot be undermined and is highlighted by the multi-pronged functions served by a leader.